Hello friends, welcome to my channel Testing Talks Latest. Today I am going to explain how to reverse an array in different ways. This is one of the questions asked in CapGemini, and reversing an array can be done in different ways. For example, if an array 1 has some values like 1, 4, 5, 9, 9, then if we want to reverse array, we can create the another array with the same length and take the values from last index and place it into the another array, reverse array. This is one of the way, but in interviews they will ask a question like, don't use another array to reverse the array. So that means we should not place in another array, reverse array, to create the reverse of the array. So in that case we have to use same array to reverse the array. So for that we have to use a temporary variable to store the values and we can reverse the array. So I am going to explain two different ways to reverse the array. Second way is quite complex, but it will be run in O of n by 2 time complexity. Means it will run faster than the array if we reverse from end of the array and place it in another array. So using second way is better. In this way we'll have replace 9 with 1 and 5 with 4 and 4 with 5. So mutually we'll sort the values and replace it. So that's why it will take O of n by 2. I'll explain both the methods to reverse the array. So for this I am going to create a class called reverse array, and I am using Selenium to run this Java code. So we can run it in Java program also. So I am going to create a class and run it with Selenium. So for this I am going to use a test annotation for running our methods. And let we import a test annotation and let we create an array with some values. We can do it in different ways, like adding all the values initially, or we can also add the values one by one after defining array. Anything is fine, but adding the values like one by one is quite lengthy. For example, if I know the length of the array like 6, I am going to add each value one by one like this, but it is lengthy compared to the first way we have used. Like this we have to create by starting with 0 index. So I created an array with the first way. So I'm going to explain two different ways to reverse the array. In the first way we are going to use another array to reverse the array. So for this we need to find length of the array. I'm going to calculate length of the array and place it in the reverse array. So we'll define a variable len and using array dot length we are going to count length of the array and place it in the reverse array. So in this method we are going to loop through the values from the end of the array into I equal to length minus 1. So as we see, we can start from last index, which is length minus 1, since index of the array will start from 0. So we will initiate our I as length minus 1 and decrement the values until 0. So for decrementing I am going to use I minus minus, and now we have to place it in reverse array. So we are going to reverse the values and placing it in reverse array from index 0. Index 0, if we need to find, that is length minus 1 minus I. Now if you calculate, current value of I is length minus 1, which is 5. What is the length of array? This length of array is 6. 6 minus 1, 5. So if we subtract length minus 1 minus I, it will be 0. If we increment this I, it will be automatically increment the values from 0 to length minus 1. So I am going to use length minus 1 minus I to place the values from 0 index. So whenever I am decrementing the values in for loop, I am going to place from 0 index, so that I am going to reverse the array. So here the value I need to place is array of I. This is the length minus 1 index 9, last array value. So this way the I will be decreasing and hence length minus I will be increasing. So if our index is 4, we'll get 1. If our index is 3, we'll get 2. Like that, reverse array and indexing will be increased. So let me print our reversed array here to see that values it will print. We can use arrays to string to print the array. So now I have to print arrays to string of reverse array. Next method also we will try. In this method we are going to start from 0 index and we are going to replace 0 index and last index values and next values further. So for that I am going to define start index as 0 and one more end index as length minus 1, and we are going to use a for loop to loop until while start less than or equal to end. So with this we are going to reverse only when the values are reached middle of the array, and it will be easier to replace since it will be run faster, but it is quite complex than first method. So for this I am going to store the value we are going to replace, such as array start, array start into temporary variable. For that I am going to define temporary variable into temp equal to 0, and let we replace our array start with array end value. After replacing this, array start value will be the new value, hence we cannot use that because it is modified already. It will be already end value. So I already placed start value in a temporary variable and let me replace array end value using temp value. So let me place array end value as temp, and later we can do start as incrementing and end value as decrementing. Since these values are already replaced, we can go further to replace the values. Start plus plus and end minus minus. With this we can reach until middle of the array, and we can stop the execution once we reached middle of the array. Let me print array after looping is completed. For this I am going to place the message same array. So since we modified the same array with this method, in the first method we used reverse array to reverse the values, and in the second method we use the same array to place the values in reverse order. Let me run our test and see the result. Need to save the data. Let me see reversed array. As we see, we have provided 1 3 4 7 8 9, and reverse array in the first method is 9 8 7 4 3 1. It is reversed. In the same way, second method also reversed the values 9 8 7 4 3 1. This is how we can reverse the array. Subscribe my channel for more such interview questions and testing tutorials. Thank you very much for your support.